On behalf of Eduvictor Solutions, I wish you a cheerful welcome. What was Nazism? Nazism was the ideology of Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party. It is a form of fascism and is referred to as extreme nationalism by many. This ideology was disgraced by the world during the reign of Hitler. Describe the problems faced by the Weimar Republic. The problems faced by the Weimar Republic can be seen from three perspectives: Treaty of Versailles, economic crisis, political crisis. Treaty of Versailles. After the defeat of Germany at the end of the First World War, a treaty was signed between the Weimar Republic and the Allied powers. It was considered as the Treaty of Humiliation as Germany lost all its major resource areas to the Allied powers and had to pay a compensation of $6 billion. Economic crisis. The German state was going through a financial crisis. They had to repay the loan they took to fight the First World War, and to add the burden, they had to compensate the loss of Allied powers. During this time, the gold reserves were being depleted and value of mark fell. The Wall Street Exchange crashed, which followed the Great Economic Depression. Political crisis. The Weimar Republic was criticized by the citizens for the defeat in the First World War and for the harsh conditions that prevailed during that time. The proportional representation and Article 48, which gave the president the power to impose emergency and rule by decree, such constitutional irregularities made people choose dictatorship. How was Germany defeated in World War I? Germany made initial gains by occupying regions of France and Belgium. However, the Allied powers, that is England, France and Russia, later strengthened by US entry in 1917, won and defeated Germany in November 1918. How Germany adopted democratic constitution. After Germany's defeat in World War I and the surrender by the Emperor, a National Assembly met at Weimar and established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. This way, Germany adopted a democratic constitution. Politically, the Weimar Republic was fragile. Justify the statement. The Weimar Republic was made to pay for the sins of old empire. It carried the burden of war guilt of World War I and national humiliation. It was financially crippled by being forced to pay war compensation. The Weimar Constitution had some inherent defects which made it unstable. Due to proportional representation, one single party could not come to power. Rather, a coalition government was formed. Another defect was the Article 48. It gave the president the powers to impose emergency, suspend civil rights, and rule by decree. Within a short span of time, many governments changed, and this made people lose confidence in the democratic parliamentary system, and it seemed to offer no real solutions. Who were called November criminals? Mainly socialist, Catholics and Democrats who supported the Weimar Republic were mockingly called the November criminals. How did the First World War left a deep impact on European society financially and on polity. Soldiers came to be placed above civilians. Politicians and publicists laid great stress on the need for men to be aggressive, strong, and masculine. The media glorified the trench or bunker's life. The truth was that soldiers lived miserable lives in these trenches, trapped with rats feeding on corpses. They faced poisonous gas and enemy shelling and witnessed their ranks reduced rapidly. Aggressive war propaganda and national honor occupied center stage in public sphere, while popular support grew for conservative dictatorship amongst citizens. Democracy was indeed a young and fragile idea which could not survive the instabilities of interwar Europe. Who was Hitler? Adolf Hitler was a German leader and a dictator belonging to the Nazi Party in Germany. He was an Austrian-born German politician, and his government played a vital role for causing World War II and the Holocaust. Discuss why did Nazism become popular in Germany by 1930. Circumstances under which Nazism became popular were: Hitler was a great orator, his passion and words moved people. He promised to build a strong nation. He promised to restore dignity of the Germans and undo the injustice of Treaty of Versailles. He promised employment for those looking for work and a secure future for the youth. He promised to weed out all foreign influences and resist all foreign conspiracies against Germany. Hitler devised a new style of politics. Nazis held massive rallies and public meetings as to show the strength and confidence for Hitler. The red banners with the swastika, ritualized rounds of applause, and the Nazi salute after the speeches were all part of the spectacle of power. Nazi propaganda projected Hitler as a messiah or a savior. What was the Nazi thinking? The main features of Nazism are: the Nazis sought to create a society based on myths such as the leader is always right, the state is everything, peace is a coward's dream, and the German Aryan race is the noblest in the world, enemy of liberalism and democracy, and they followed an expansion policy to acquire new territories. It would also enhance the material resource and power of the German nation. Describe the role of propaganda films in creating hatred for Jews. Most infamous film was The Eternal Jew, in which Orthodox Jews were stereotyped and marked. They were shown with flowing beards wearing kaftans. They were referred to as vermin, rats, and pests. Their movements were compared to those of rodents. Explain the status of women in the German society under Nazism. Status of women in Germany. Children in Nazi Germany were told that women were radically different from men. While boys were taught to be aggressive, masculine, and steel-hearted, girls were told to be good mothers and rear pure-blood Aryan children. They had to teach Nazi values to their children. women bearing undesirable children were punished and those bearing desirable were awarded. Girls had to maintain the purity of race. They had to keep distance from the Jews, look after their home, and teach Nazi values to their children. To encourage women to produce more children, a bronze cross was given for 4, silver for 6, and gold for 8 or more children. Those who maintained contacts with the Jews, Poles, or Russians were severely punished. So women were treated as second-class citizens during Nazi regime. What event in history is known as the Holocaust? How did the world come to know about the Holocaust? The persecution and mass murder of Jews by German Nazis between 1933 and 1945 is known as the Holocaust. The sources were information and full horror of the Holocaust was revealed after Hitler's death, from diaries, notebooks left behind by many ghetto inhabitants. Many of the Jews survived to tell the stories. Memoirs, fictions, documentaries, and poetry in many parts of the world also revealed information about Holocaust. Explain 3 reasons that led to the German invasion of Soviet Union. Reasons leading to this German invasion of Soviet Union were: Hitler dreamt of settling the German with pure iron blood in the Asian steppe region and of using the Jews and Asians as slaves. He wanted to ensure food supplies for the Germans. The Germans and Russians had serious differences over the Balkan, where no clear line demarcation had been worked out. Hitler wanted to eradicate communism. State the verdict of Nuremberg Tribunal. Why did the Allies avoid hard punishment on Germany? The Nuremberg Tribunal, which was set up to prosecute the Nazis for committing grave crime against humanity, which involved killing of innocent civilians in Europe, sentenced only 11 Nazis to death. Some were given life imprisonment. Allies avoid harsh punishment on Germany because they did not want to repeat the mistakes committed after the First World War, where they imposed harsh terms on Germany by virtue of Treaty of Versailles, which resulted in the rise of Hitler. Treaty of Versailles was physiologically damaging for the Germans and also proved to be national shame. The treaty had sown the seeds of the Second World War. This made the Allies cautious enough of not being much harsh on Germans again. I hope you like our video and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thanks.